Huntington's Disease Youth Organization, breaking down barriers. Family planning options for those impacted by HD. For someone who is gene positive or at risk of HD, the decision to start a family and how you may go about doing so is a very personal choice. This video will highlight many options around having children. Please keep in mind, each country or region may have different types of access to these options, so it is important to check with a professional or an HD association in your region to see what is available to you. Please also note, this is an extremely personal decision, and there is no wrong or right way to explore family planning decisions. We are going to explore some common options of family planning if impacted by HD. The first option is to conceive naturally. People may choose this decision for a number of reasons. If successful, this will result in a child that is at risk for HD and is biologically your child. This option is available to all. The next option is called prenatal testing. Prenatal testing involves testing a pregnancy for HD during the first or second trimester. Usually, it is agreed upon that if the test is positive, then you terminate the pregnancy. If the test is negative, this means you will have an HD-free child that is biologically yours. Prenatal testing is available to those who have already tested positive and know they have inherited HD gene. There's a version of prenatal testing for those who are at risk for HD and would like to not know what their HD status is. This is called exclusion testing and adds a bit more steps to the process. For all the details on exclusion testing, please visit our website. The next option is pre-implantation genetic testing, PGT. PGT is a procedure in which an individual's eggs and an individual's sperm are retrieved and an embryo is fertilized in a laboratory. The embryos are then tested for HD, along with other genetic mutations, and any that have HD or are not viable will not be used. An embryo without the HD gene is implanted, hoping a pregnancy will follow. PGT, if successful, will result in a child free of the risk of HD, and they will be biologically yours. However, this procedure is not always successful, and more than one attempt may be required to get a successful pregnancy. The process is not easy, particularly for the female involved, who will have to take daily injections during the attempt time, and both will have to deal emotionally with the failures or successes of the pregnancy. It is also fairly expensive, and it may or may not be available on your National Health Service or insurance. PGT is available for those who have tested positive, but there is again a version for those who are at risk called non-disclosure PGT. The next option is egg, sperm, or embryo donation. This method uses egg, sperm, or embryo donors in place of the affected parent, meaning a child will not be at risk of inheriting HD. Pregnancy success rates vary. This process, if successful, would end up with a child without the risk of HD, who is not the person impacted by HD's biological child. This process is available to those at risk and tested positive for HD and could be offered to anyone without a partner. The final option we will discuss is adopting or fostering. Adoption or fostering is when a couple, individual, or a family takes in a child who needs a family to look after them. Adoption usually means a full-time care of the child, whereas fostering usually is for a set amount of time. This process can be long in some regions, but can be very rewarding. However, you may find that being at risk of HD may impact your application. If successful, this process will result in having an HD-free child who's not biologically yours. This option is available for those at risk and have tested positive. Please note, if you're from the LGBTQIA+ community, many of these options may be available to you. We highly recommend making an appointment with a genetic counselor near you to talk over your options. We hope that you have found this summary of the options for having children when you're tested positive or at risk for HD useful. More in-depth information can be accessed at HDYO.org. Contact us anytime with questions on this topic. HDYO is always here to help. Thank you to our sponsors for making this video possible.